Hey guys, so I got the parts out here from 48 and a 47, most of them anyways. I'm gonna do a quick video on the differences, the physical differences. Not gonna go through the valve body, but the physical differences of between a 47 RE and the 48 RE. Anyways, let's get after it. All right guys, so we're gonna have a little chat about the differences between a 47 RE and a 48 RE. Now there is a few different things that are different. Valve body, there's some differences. I'm not 100% sure on that. You know, eventually I'll probably get into doing some valve body stuff, but I myself need to learn about it before I can teach somebody about it.
You can see right in the middle of the case, there's two bolt holes.
Some of the stuff on this, so the differences are relatively easy to tell because they're physical differences for the most part. Something that you do want to note is if you have a 2006-2007 48 RE, it does have a TV motor on it. So there's on the side of the transfer case. I'll put a picture in here right now. And so on that picture, you can see where the bolt holes are that hold the TV motor on. So if you have a 2006-2007, you do need that. Unless you're going manual valve body, then you don't need to. All the other ones are the same, as far as I know, anyway. So I don't think that I'm missing anything. I kind of sat down and thought about it a little bit and went through some parts and stuff. I'm pretty sure this is going to be all of the differences, main differences anyways. The input shafts are the same, intermediate shafts are the same, output shafts are the same. Talking RE models, the RH model, a 47RH, that stuff is different. And we will, when I pull the tranny out of my 3/4 ton, when we're putting it into the other truck, I'm gonna tear it apart, make sure everything's kosher inside of there so I can show you the differences, but that won't be for probably mid-winter time, probably. But anyways, let's get into it a bit here. So all the stuff on this side is a 48 RE, all the stuff on this side is a 47 RE. And I think what we'll do, I guess it doesn't matter where we start. So, I guess technically that, if you wanted to go front to back, I guess that would be, well, actually, no, I guess not front to back because then there's the drums. But anyways, doesn't really matter. So, talking the pump stator, input shaft, I don't know, it's part of the stator, so there's the piece over there. I don't know if you guys can, yeah, you guys can see that. So that's off of 48. I just took this pump apart. But this one's off of a 47. This one is off of a 48. The one, obviously you can see the difference there. This one has this seal right here, which is an drain back seal for the torque converter. And now your torque converter is different. I should mention that. So the torque converter technically for a 48 and a 47 is different. You can use a converter from a 48 on a 47 and vice versa. You just have to, sometimes you have to remove this seal or you don't have to remove this seal kind of idea. So just, there is some differences, but if you're ordering one, I don't know now, they might all be the same. But if you're ordering one, make sure you order it for a 47 if you're running a 47 pump, or if you're running a 48 pump, order one for a 48. I think they're probably all 48 style, I would imagine now. But anyways, so that is the difference in that part. Now, if you look at the pumps, you can see that the pump on the 47 pump, you can see the 47 pump and the 48 pump. The 47 pump is smaller pump, and then also the dog for the converter to set on so that it turns the pump. The 48 is considerably bigger than the 47. They're the same thickness. It's just that your 47, your 48 one has a larger gap basically, so it pulls more fluid. So that's the difference in the pumps. Not really like the 48 does move more oil than the 47 does. I don't know. I always put 48 stuff in all of my transmissions for the only reason is I'd rather it move more oil. I don't know how much it makes a difference, but it makes me feel better, so I do it. Now, going back into the transmission, now for your forward clutches, the difference forward clutch wise, if you look at the spline that's here. I don't know how many spline it is. I didn't actually count it. But if you see the spline there on this one's from the 47, and then this one's from the 48. I had the same. You can see the spline count is way more on the 48 than it is on the 47. Obviously this one's the 48, this one's the 47, but that is the differences in the clutches. So the 48 has way more teeth versus this one. So if you're doing if you're swapping stuff over, if you're swapping 6-gear Planetaries over, I'm not actually 100% sure with that. I've always done that. If I take a Planetary, I take both pieces. But the clutches are different. So your forward clutches are different in a 47 versus a 48. The clutch surface is the same. It's just that the spline is different. And I think they did that for strength. More spline stronger. I don't know if they had problems with them tearing out. I've never seen one tore out, but that doesn't mean they don't do it. And then going into Planetary Sets. If you're going into Planetary Sets here, just gonna move the camera a little bit just so it's a little bit easier for me to see. Going into Planetaries, you can see the 47 here versus the 48. Obviously, 47 is 6, 47 is 5. And there is a difference. Your thrust washers, the difference in those is that one has, this is one for a 48, but it has 6 tongs on, like 6 tabs on it, so that it grabs. I get it in the right spot here. It grabs all 6, so that there is a difference in the thrust wash kit. I don't know. I think that the thrust wash kit I bought, I think it just came with both of them. So it wasn't, I only had to buy one kit, and it was for a 48, but it came with for the 5. So obviously the 48, which is the 6 gear, is going to be stronger than the 47. 1 extra gear, 1 extra shaft to take load. There again, this is the reason I upgrade. If I'm doing a 47, that's going to make a bunch of power. Which usually if I was going to do a 47, it would be a 47RH. So depending on what you're doing with it, but that's for me anyways. Now going on to the next set of Planetaries. So your rear Planetary, 6 gear there again, all steel, another thrust washer. And then, oh, that's actually something too. The thrust washers on the, that's a 4-gear Planetary. Never actually paid any attention. That's actually not even the right Planetary. It should be a 5-gear Planetary. Maybe that was part of the reason I had an issue. But so that's actually out of a, I think it's out of a 46 RE actually. All right, so going back to the next set of Planetaries. This one, it was out of that 47 that we tore apart for Shay's truck, which is actually the wrong one. It's a 4-gear. It should be a 5-gear, but still aluminum. So you can buy the 5-gear steel, which I think is what we're going to put back in it. Obviously, we'll have to get one for it. I guess we could put a 5-gear aluminum in it for the power that he's going to make with it. I don't think he would ever hurt it, but this one's screwed up anyway, so we couldn't use it. So that is the difference. So your 6-gear should be 5-gear, but made out of aluminum. So you will have, this one had a rough life. It's chewed all up, but so take that into consideration. Really the biggest thing, oh, I guess we should go through that first. And then if you go into the stuff here, let me get this stuff out of the way here a bit, just so we can go down the line. Okay. So direct drum. This is the direct drum here. Basically, they're physically the same, except for if you guys might have a hard time seeing that. Let's see if I can hold it up for you. So one on the right is a 48, and the one on the left is a 47. And if you look, you can see how on the 48, try to get that tip so you can see it. The one on the 48, the groove is much higher than on the 47, which basically just allows you, and the drums are interchangeable, So you can use this drum if you were to replace. I personally would use this drum because it's easier to put more clutch in it. So basically you get one extra clutch with this drum versus this drum. That's the only difference. So if you had to replace, like this drum is screwed up from being cooked, obviously we are going to replace it with one of these drums because you're in there. If you can add clutch to a transmission, within reason, obviously, I personally would always add clutch to it because you can run the same line pressure and hold more. So even in a stock transmission, if you can add clutches to it and you're not even doing a shift kit in it, I personally still would do more clutch, because if you add more clutch, you're adding like, let's say 25% more clutch, which in turn is going to hold more power at the same pressure. If you crank the pressure up, obviously less clutch will hold more power. But you know, when you need to replace the piece anyway, why not do it? And then getting back here, you can see in your shells the thickness from, this is the 48 shell, this is the 47 shell. You can see the thickness. The 48 is considerably thicker than the 47. I believe that they're interchangeable, but I shouldn't say that for sure. Well, if you were using the 6-gear Planetaries, they're definitely interchangeable. So personally, if basically the way that I look at it is, if you're doing a crazy transmission, you should be using all the guts out of a 48 or using a 48. So, and if you're replacing everything, if you can find a 48 that's a good core, I would buy the good core, because then you don't have to buy all of the parts individually. The only thing is if you get it apart and it looks like that inside, or that inside, or it has the wrong Planetaries in it, because I have seen where these Planetaries are in a 48 versus like even the 5-gear Planetary. I've seen that where it's the wrong Planetary. Now going back in the transmission, I don't have one apart at the moment for the overdrive housing. You guys seen me put one together, one together. This is a 5-gear Planetary out of a 48 or a 47, sorry. The 48 has a 6-gear, so it looks basically like that. So that's the only difference as far as that goes. As far as the overdrive side of things go, they both have the same amount of clutches in the overdrive unit, whether it's a 47 or a 48. What do we got left? Your park rod. So 47 park rod, 48 park rod. You can see the end is considerably different. So if you are swapping overdrive housings, you can use a 47 or a 47 housing on a 48. You just have to make sure that you have the right rod to go with the housing. So I don't have a 48 one off at the moment, but if you look down inside here at the park pole, it's, I don't have my flashlight in my pocket, but basically the piece down inside here, this piece that, come on, light. Basically the piece that you guys have never seen it, basically the piece that the pawl, actually it's called, that goes into the overdrive housing that grabs for park, one is bigger than the other. So if you could put a 47 park rod in a 48, but you can't do it the other way around because it's so much larger, but it will not work properly. It'll skip out of park. So make sure that if you're whatever housing you're using, you have the right park rod. You can interchange it, just make sure you use the right one. So other than that, that's pretty much, like I said, other than the valve body, there is some differences in the valve body. But we'll get into that later because I'd have to tear two apart and then, go through them with you guys, right? And I'm not 100% sure. I'd physically have to do a little bit of research on that. So anyways, like, subscribe, hit me down in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one.